the English Team Rocket set might actually be saved, and here is why. So, if we head on over to Pokebeach, we've got some brand new leaks in regards to the upcoming Team Rocket set here in a couple months. So, and this is crazy that we're getting this so early on. However, Pokebeach managed to find some images of the booster pack artwork for Destined Rivals. These are images that are from the Gamescom event in Latin America, showing some Brazilian, Portuguese images that they have lined up, basically. So starting off, we've got Rocket's Mewtwo. And I'm going to be going over some of the cards that people might be scooping up in anticipation for the hype of this set. So definitely want to stick around to take a look at maybe some cards that aren't currently in your collection that you may want to pick up. Some of them I currently own and am super happy I picked them up last year before they skyrocketed. But anyway, back to the topic at hand. So, Rocket's Mewtwo. Pretty much any Mewtwo card is going to pop off. Let's be real. Every single Mewtwo card is probably going to pop off between now and the fall, basically. This was actually really, really inspiring to see because it gives me a lot of faith that they are not going to under-deliver on the Team Rocket set, because we have several different eras of Team Rocket featured on this booster pack artwork. And we've got Arbok, Coughing, Murkrow, even a Rattata in there, which is really nice to see. But Arbok is definitely one of the more iconic Team Rocket Pokemon. And we've definitely seen some price movements across the board for several different Arbok cards that we'll be taking a look at later. But I cannot wait to have this as a booster pack artwork. The straight up R, I don't know if this is going to be a booster pack artwork, but according to Pokebeach, they say it is. And this one I can definitely see as booster pack artwork with Cynthia and her Garchomp, right? So if we scroll down a little bit more, the pack artwork shows Giovanni, Executive Ariana, Executive Petrel, and 2 Team Rocket Grunts. Fire Red, Leaf Green, Heart Gold, Soul Silver designs. The Pokemon presumably revealed their inclusion of Team Rocket's Mewtwo, We've already covered that. And in case you guys haven't already seen, here's some of the stuff from Heatwave Arena, which is going to make up half of the Destined Rivals set, which will be the Team Rocket set from Japan, which is the glory of Team Rocket. And then Heatwave Arena, which focuses more on trainers and gym leaders, such as Ethan's Ho-Oh. And then we've got Cynthia's Roserade, which is an absolutely beautiful card. And I think this is definitely going to be one of the top 5 chase cards because Cynthia just looks absolutely amazing. And guess what, guys? She's legal. So now you don't have to be cringe about your waifus. Marnie's Marpeco. Chef's kiss. I think Marnie's going to do phenomenally well if you own Marnie cards. This trainer I'm not super familiar with. If you want to let me know who that is down below. I know several of you will probably roast me, but I was not in the hobby or playing the games during this era. But that is a Beldum. Someone's Beldum. And that is pretty much it for the leaks for the Team Rocket set. However, I do want to cover some opportunities to pick up cards that maybe you might be interested in getting that you don't currently already own, or if you want to get duplicates before the prices absolutely skyrocket. So, first and foremost, Dark Charizard. I actually recently picked one up a couple months ago. I don't know where it is, but I have one. I'll try and put it in a TikTok. Dark Charizard. So prices are going up. There wasn't a whole lot of movement for November, at least for the near mint copies. And then you start seeing sales right around here, like mid-January. You got 161, 161, 167, 177. If we look at the sales data, it actually reflects a little differently than what the charts are saying. So we have a sale for 207, 190, 190. Someone picked, I guess, a really nice copy up for 340. I'm not sure how somebody picked this up, a near mint first edition for 85. Not sure what that could possibly be. Another copy for 350. Someone's selling some graded ones here. So yeah, it looks like pretty much the average is about 200 to 350. So I'll just call it like 275 for a really, really nice copy of Dark Charizard. Could I see this going up? If there is a Dark Charizard, absolutely. If there isn't, it'll probably stagnate around this price point. But if you haven't gotten it yet and it is on your to get list, time is running out, I would say, for an affordable pickup. Seeing as the modern day Charizard is around 270, picking up a vintage Dark Charizard in near mint condition just seems very undervalued to me right now. I could easily see that card being 500 to 1,000 in my personal opinion, just because of its age. Okay, so moving on, here comes Team Rocket. This card has been on absolute tear, going for about $10 in February of last year, so about a year ago. Currently selling for double to triple digits from last year. So $10 last year, currently going for 33, 22, 35, 20, 32, 26. So, this card has already seen double, triple digit gains since February. Might be a little late on the boat for this one, guys. But if you own it, congrats, you are big ups. Next up, we got Dark Gyarados. So Dark Gyarados, same thing. You could have gotten this like around the 30 range for a near mint copy in December. Now it's going for roughly about the 40s and 50s, probably actually even higher. I mean, you can still get them if you are stocking listings, and eBay might still have some in the 40 range as well. However, if you're going to be shopping on TCG Player or at a convention or card shop, they're probably going to be going off of TCG Player. And right now, most copies are going for anywhere between 50 and let's say 75. So probably like around the 60 to 65 price point for a near mint copy is about what most people are going to be charging for a near mint copy of Dark Gyarados. I honestly think that's also super undervalued. I think this card could easily be 200. I mean, it is an absolutely sick card. If there is a Dark Gyarados in the new set, this card will go absolutely bonkers. And with, the illustration where Magikarp already being 200 plus for a modern day card, it just seems like a no-brainer that Dark Gyarados would be around that price point as well, especially since Gyarados is featured in that artwork, which is so strange to me with like how many people collected during that era versus what's available on the market. This just seems very, very, very undervalued to me. If you can pick this up for $50, I think that is a steal. I think I have the pre-release ones. I think I have a couple, but not in near mint. So, Dark Dragonite, interestingly enough, I'm not sure why this card seems to be more closer to what it actually should be going for amongst all the other cards. But 130, 100, 150, anywhere between 100 and 150 for Dark Dragonite seems pretty reasonable for me. I think this is right about where this card should be. Again, if it gets featured in the new set, this could easily double in price, no problem. The likelihood, not super high, in my opinion. Not super, super high. Giovanni, modern day Giovanni's Riz. Anyway, we were seeing lows for about $5. Probably even lower if you look at the all-time graph. I think you could have gotten this as low as like $4 to $5. Now trading at about 7, 10, 7, 10, 8. So, anywhere between $8 to $10. So holding on to that card pretty much doubled. I could easily see this going up to 15, 20. No problem. We're seeing people buy up, on a weekly basis, 116, 105, 226 copies sold. This product is hot, super, super hot. And I think, this full art could double easily. I don't think it'll stay at 20 forever, but it could. It could. Secret Illustration Rare Giovanni's Riz, the big daddy in the room, not your beta boyfriend. So a high of 36 for Giovanni's Riz. If we look at the charts, we've got him selling for 25, 30, 26, 30, 25, 30, 25, 25. I think we're seeing a slight retrace on this particular card because we got news that we wouldn't be getting a dedicated Team Rocket. So I think a lot of the hype for this card kind of backpedaled a little bit. I think people are feeling a little bit insecure about their positions in holding this card for the long term, or at least the short term, as a flip. But I do easily see this card going to $40 or $50, and I think right now if you can pick it up for anywhere between 20 and 25, that is not a bad deal. I still think this is probably undervalued in my opinion, especially with how cool this artwork is. You've got a Master Ball, he's holding a Pokeball, Persian's all glazed up on his side. Not to mention this also matches the Persian from Shrouded Fable looking in the glass, which I'm pretty sure is a callback to this card. Boss's Orders, just for the lulz. So we've seen it as low as 38. Now this is a full art, and why I think the Giovanni's Rizma full art has the capability of reaching these in the long term. $65. If you're picking up Giovanni's Riz for 10, and then when did this card come out? 2020. So, and we're in 2025 now. So if you bought a Giovanni's Charisma now and held it for 5 years and saw a 600% gain on it, you could essentially turn, if you really wanted to degen, right? Let's say you bought 50 of them, right? Multiply that by 600%. That's not bad. You're beating out inflation at least. And honestly, I think it's a better artwork than this. This is kind of weird, almost like giving a little AI to some degree. But if we look at the 1 year on this puppy, yeah, he's been 40. No, he was actually in the 40s and 35s last year, and almost doubled in price, which is crazy work. Absolutely crazy work. I think there's an opportunity for that full art. This one seemed to have a lot more copies circulating. Again, same thing. I think people are falling back on their positions. Somebody bought 138 of these cards in 1 week. So this is obviously a clear buyout, and then another 196 of them the following week. And then people started buying these at like 20, 17, 14, 11, and it's slowly just dying off, which is really, really funny. And the crazy part is I think this particular card looks better than the Rebel Clash one, but I think Rebel Clash wasn't nearly as highly printed as Hidden Fates, so there might just be more cards on the market. I think if you can get this card for $5, $6, maybe $7, it wouldn't be a bad hold long term. I don't think it would be too bad of a hold. Jesse and James. Now the funny thing is, I used to own a copy of this, and during one of our live streams, one of our customers who kept opening Hidden Fates and Unified Minds, really expensive packs, we went on somewhat of a dry spell, and I was like, you know what, I got you, big dog, I got you. And we gifted a Jesse and James to this customer back in like January, when this was going for like $20, $25. When I tell you, around my birthday, I saw this selling at $75. I had a little bit of regret. And I love Team Rocket cards. I have several pages in my personal binder dedicated to Team Rocket cards from all eras. I think this is the only one copy that I picked up. But who knows? Maybe I'll find another one in the wild for a good price eventually. This I do have several copies of. The Rocket Sneak Attack, I also have it in Japanese, first edition, yada yada yada. Yep. So in December, now 16 for near mint copies, 15, then slowly creeping up to the 17s, 18s. Right now, this card is selling for, in near mint, 20, in first edition 35, 20, 22. Got one there for 18, 16. So if you can get this for somewhere between 15 and 20, you don't already have it, I could see this easily going up to 30, 35. But I don't think this card is so well known that it'll be in the mainstream of collectors to buy lists. And that's just me personally. Dark Slowbro. So this one you could have gotten back in November for about 25. Let's see where we're trading at now. Not a lot of movement, surprisingly. You can still get this for about 25 to 30. Will it be a Dark Slowbro? It's a little hard to tell. Slowbro isn't exactly like a super popular Pokemon. Slowpoke is a little bit more. Me personally, there are cards that I collect, and there are cards that I collect for investment purposes. I like them, but I don't like them so much that I couldn't just offload them if the price was right. Slowbro would be one of those for me personally. Next up, Garchomp. This card I've been telling people for months it is underrated. This thing is so fire. I mean, so fire. That Garchomp, I've not seen a better pose for that Garchomp. Cynthia looking like an absolute boss ass bitch. Man, this card just hits. And people were sleeping on it. I feel like people were sleeping on it. Not enough hype for this card. But now with Heatwave Arena and it being a main staple on the booster pack, this card is only going to continue going up. I mean, back in November, this card was selling for like 25. Now, if you want a near mint copy, you're looking at 65 to 70. So this card has doubled, if not almost tripled, in value since then. And it is an absolutely stunning card and deserves all the praise. Something to keep in mind is that I do think this card could go up even further. I think 150 is not unreasonable for this card, but that's just me personally. That is just me personally. And I'll go over that here in a minute, why I think 150 isn't unreasonable for that card. Now, this one is, I think, maybe a sleeper, and that is the SAR Cynthia's Ambition. SAR? Galarian Gallery? And I think with all the attention that Cynthia is going to be getting here pretty soon for the upcoming sets around Team Rocket, her also being kind of a baddie, I think that $18, $15 is still relatively cheap for her. Absolutely stunning card. Back in November, this was going for about 10. Now they're going for about 15, and I think there is still time to pick these up. Every week we're seeing, a very, very high volume of cards sold, but not to the point where there has been like a buyout. I think this is very much a healthy amount of cards for the hobby to be picking up right now. Every week, we're seeing about 30 to 40 to 50 of them being picked up at a time. And I think this will slowly creep up on people to the point where it is actually a $45 card, but you can get this still for $15. I would definitely be picking up as many of these, me personally. Now, will it necessarily go up to 45? I think there's a good chance. I don't know if it'll stay at 45. The full art version of Cynthia's Ambition, I also think is kind of slept on, selling for $8.50 to about $10 average. We got 9, 10, 8, about 10 average, more or less. And back in November, this was going for $5, so it's already doubled, if not maybe even a little bit more. And I think this still has more room to go, just like Giovanni's Charisma. And I could easily see this averaging out to be a $30 card in the future. So I think this one is also a very easy pickup, especially if you can get it in a PSA 10, because Sword and Shield is notoriously bad for centering. Up next, we got Marnie. So Marnie full art in November was going for about 28. Now it's going for about 38. Seeing as Marnie will be one of the trainer cards in the set, currently going for 40, 45, 35, 32, 37, and these are kind of like the Japanese waifu effect cards that kind of had, a lot of hype coming over from across the sea. But it has slowly started seeing gains. We see like 5 to 10 sold a week. This could be a potential sleeper. I think if you want to pick one up, now might be your last chance if you are a fan of Marnie and Team Star Yell from Sword and Shield Block. Rainbow Marnie, I think, is even a bigger opportunity. I think rainbows are kind of slept on. I think eventually these will see the light of day again, but this is definitely a very long-term play, and you must believe in the power of rainbows. $15 for a full art Marnie, I think, is just underpriced, and I could easily see this being a $50 card, especially after the most recent set comes out. Now, here's kind of where I want to take a break from the cards before we wrap up the video and discuss Journey Together. So, if we look at Journey Together, right, and I'm going to tie this back to Destined Rivals and what I think some of the marketing choices that they're going to make for that set are going to be. So with Journey Together, you have Iono, Lily, Hops, and N with his Zorark. They decided to take N's Zorark from the booster pack and put it onto the ETB. I think they're going to do the same thing with Destined Rivals, the Team Rocket Heatwave Arena set, right? So if we're looking at these 4 images as being potential ETB images, it's between Cynthia's Garchomp and probably Giovanni and his Mewtwo. I think Giovanni and his Mewtwo might be too heavy-handed in the Team Rocket theme, but I do think Cynthia and her Garchomp are a much more reasonable way of saying, like, yeah, this set does have like a lot of villains in the set, but also going to have a lot of trainers and gym leaders in the set as well. And so if I was a betting man, which I'm not really a betting man, but if I if I had to bet, I would say that more than likely Garchomp with Cynthia is going to be the ETB art. I would say with about a 70% chance, in my opinion, based on that. So if we go back and take a look, it starts to make the Cynthia cards, when we're looking at their price points, seem very undervalued at 18, at 10 for this card. And when you look at this Cynthia's Garchomp card, boy, $70 starts to look kind of cheap, doesn't it? It starts to look kind of cheap. And so I think this card will probably go up to 120 to 150 in my personal opinion. I don't know what the PSA 10 copies go for. Let's take a quick look-see. Let's see what a PSA 10 copy goes for. In a PSA 10, it goes for about $230, so $714.21, about triple the price of what the raw card goes for. And so I could easily see a world where a PSA 10 copy goes for $500. Easy. If the card goes up to $120, $150, $500 for a PSA 10 does not seem unrealistic. And the fact that somebody picked one up on eBay for $150 according to price charting, absolute steal. In fact, let me click on this. This is going to take me over to eBay. Dang. And that is so crazy. Ooh. Coupon code. Anyway, yeah, wild that they got that for $155. Anyways, to continue on, so some of the last cards I kind of want to feature before we wrap things up. Dark Arbok, currently going for about 10 bones in near mint condition. This was going for about 5 to 7 last year. But yeah, pretty much hovering at a consistent 10 to 11 to even 15. Somebody bought one today actually for 20. And you can get near mint copies in first edition for 45. Not bad. Not bad. I could see this going up, especially if we get some sort of trainer card with Arbok. This could potentially go up higher. There are a lot of dark Arboks out there, so do be careful with that. Something to keep in mind, since I believe this was also featured in, I want to say a battle deck pre-make as well. However, modern day version of Arbok from Temporal Forces, I think, still has room to grow. The Moonbok, I could see easily becoming a hype train amongst many other content creators. And, for $20, that seems pretty reasonable. However, Magikarp was also a very cheap card originally. And I think if enough people buy this out and Temporal Forces doesn't see a reprint, there is a world where I see people FOMOing into Moonbok for $100. So me personally, I think this Arbok card definitely has a lot of potential, but that is just a gut feeling and not really based on anything other than the fact that it is featured on the pack art over here with Destined Rivals with the other Team Rocket players. I don't see why they wouldn't give Arbok some more love. All right, moving on to Armored Mewtwo. Okay, this card has gone absolutely bonkers. Currently selling for about 100 to 110. However, I think if you can pick this up for a third of the price in Japanese, that is an absolutely insane deal. I personally prefer it in Japanese. Me personally, I think it looks cooler. probably a bit easier to also get it in a PSA 10. I do own, I think, a moderately played English version of this card that I picked up for $35 a few months ago. I didn't even know this card existed, to be honest, until like a few months ago, but this was a 2019 release as well. Now, Armored Mewtwo, I could easily see going for like $300. But something I did want to point out that is another potential opportunity. If this card from 2019 is currently going for $100 to $120, there's no reason why the 151 Mew couldn't also get there as well. I still think this card is undervalued for what it is. I think if you can pick these up for 25 to 30 right now is probably one of the safest plays, knowing that this is probably one of the most collected sets of all time. And I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a reprint, but I don't think we're going to get a UPC reprint. If we got a reprint, it would probably be in the form of ETBs and more products like Blooming Waters and booster bundles. So, with that being said, I highly recommend, if you don't already own this card or if you want more for the long term, to boost the value of your collection, I still think at $30 this card is super undervalued, especially in comparison to the Armored Mewtwo that came out 3 years prior. So, if you can triple your value in 3 years, not a terrible move. Now, this one is probably the most criminal in my mind, and the fact that the sales volume has gotten this crazy as of recently. So if we're looking at, these Mews, we're selling about, wow, that was a lot of them sold, bought, and yeah, wow, so many, 165 a week is crazy. Right now, this card is popping off. I mean, yeah, 18, 15, 20. I still think this card is super undervalued. And I think once the supply of this completely dries up, that's it. I think the ship will have sailed by that point. I'm trying to see if there's anybody here who is selling copies more than like 2 or 3 copies under 20. And there really isn't anybody. I think the cheapest one, if you want to get 6 at a time, is over here at 25. Wow, crazy. But again, I think this card could easily be 50 to 100. Batman Mewtwo, I'm calling it now. Batman Mewtwo is going to be a $50 card, in my opinion. In my humble opinion, I think you could probably get this lightly played for less. Yeah, you could get it for like 12, 15, if you don't mind the LP of it. This card also super slept on, in my opinion. And I think now people are starting to see that. Look at how many are being sold on a weekly basis. 200 sold, 481 sold, 487. I mean, this card is literally being bought out as we speak, which is crazy. Absolutely bonkers. I think the supply of this Snorlax card is going to wither up very, very quickly. It is an absolutely adorable card, and if the Charmander promo goes for 25, I don't see how this card isn't 20 already, in my personal opinion. But I think 151 was printed a lot more than Charmander, and Charmander is a bit more of a fan favorite. Same thing, gold Mew cards. I think this is probably the last opportunity before everything goes sky high for 151. To see this card going for these prices is absolutely insane. We've got about 50 sold, 100 sold, 46 on a weekly basis, 69, 55. And so the floor is being absolutely bought up right now. And this probably has the biggest upside, especially if you compare it to the gold Pikachu that came in celebrations. So if you can pick up, these gold Mews at like $7 or $8, even at $10, right? And within a matter of a few years, you can quadruple your value of your collection. It just seems like a no-brainer to me. And so I think this is probably one of the last few huge upside potential cards left that are just no-brainers to me, at least. Anyways, that's pretty much everything. I will keep you guys up to date with any other future leaks coming out. I'll try posting a little bit more digestible bites on TikTok. And if you guys liked the content, feel free to drop a like. Let me down in the comments below if there's anything else you'd like me to cover or want to chat about. I'm always welcome and down to chat in the comments below. I've been Daggerito. Boy!